Well, okay, here's another rock and roll inspired break that Don did on a tune called I'm Just Here to Get My Baby Out of Jail. And we're going to be doing a lot of the same things that we did on I Ain't Gonna Walk Your Dog No More and I Know You're Married. All of that real bluesy, Chuck Berry, rock and roll type stuff that he did in those tunes. We're going to be applying to that to this song too. It's kind of hard to play slow without rhythm, but I'm going to try to play it for you and get through it. As always, never stick to just the way I'm showing you. This probably won't be exactly the way Don did it because it's so hard to interpret exactly what he's doing sometimes. He'll put little slurs and different slides and things and pauses in there, but I'm going to try to show it as close as I can get it here off of memory. I don't usually play things note for note anymore. I've been playing so long that, I kind of just riff on the things that I've learned. And I think that's the way Don would want you to do it too. I usually tell people, learn it like the original was and then add your own little embellishments to it because that's what Don would have done. I guarantee you he never played this the same way again. But I'm going to try to get you on the right path. So let me try to play this thing here. All right. Okay, let me see if I can break this thing down for you. A lot of this is going to be just like I Ain't Gonna Walk Your Dog No More or I Know You're Married. And this first part especially is a lot like that. We're going to be playing out of this F shape and F7th shape G chord. And we're going to be doing some of those same Chuck Berry type licks in here. All that kind of stuff that we did in those tunes. So if I'm moving too fast in the first part, go back and look at those videos where I explained it a little more thoroughly there. But we're going to be using the brush technique through most of this break, just like I Ain't Gonna Walk Your Dog No More was mostly brush work. So what that is, if you're new to it, I've covered it before. It's just brushing the strings with your thumb, 2 strings at once, and muting the bridge back here. So the first part of this is we're going to be brushing the 4th and 3rd, and then the 3rd and 2nd open, and then we're going to slide into this double stop that we've used a million times. All right, that's right out of your F shape. And then we're going to brush that open, your 3rd and 2nd strings open real quick. All right, right after that. I explained this in I Ain't Gonna Walk Your Dog No More. Don likes to add open notes between closed notes to add a little hop to it. So a lot of times when you're trying to figure something out and you're like, I'm missing something, you keep thinking that you're missing something, it could be that he's adding an extra note in there in between the closed notes, just an open note, kind of a ghost note almost, that adds a little hop and a little extra note in there that's hard to pick up sometimes. And it's kind of a timing device sometimes. So in this case, all right. All right. Now we're not going to linger on that note. I'm just demonstrating that I'm hitting it open. All right. So it goes like this. Okay. Hope you can see what I did there, adding that open note. Listen to the record. It's hard to do it when I'm playing slow with no rhythm, but listen to the record and get his pauses and his timing that he puts in here on these stops, because sometimes he pauses on some of these double stops. So I added another hop right there. I'm coming down to the 3rd fret on the 2nd and 1st strings. That's that. All right. open again, I'm flattening my finger down across the 5th fret. All right. All right. So you end up on that G7th again. Now, sometimes Don hammers on. Sometimes he picks both notes out. So instead of I'm hammering on, I'm only hitting the strings once. Sometimes he hits it twice. Depends on how he feels, depends on, how he wants it to sound. So, like I said, you can do it however you want to, as long as it stays in time, and it sounds good. So. All right. So we end up on that 7th again. Then we're going to do the brushing just like we started. It's going to be timed a little different, but. Just like I would, let's see, I know you're married and I ain't going to walk your dog no more. So I'm sliding into this 3rd and 2nd fret, or 3rd and, on the 3rd fret on the 1st and 2nd string. Sorry, that 7th chord. So, and I'm reaching over here and grabbing this 6th fret while I'm holding that down with my finger here. Grab that 6th fret on your 2nd string. Those are the same notes, but a little variance when you pull that or push it. It adds a little blues to it. Just like I Ain't Gonna Walk Your Dog No More. Alright, so. And there's another case where you could single note that. I'm hammering on there. You could hammer it on, or you could single note it. I guess you can hear that difference there. So I don't remember what he did on the record now. I don't remember how I played it in the intro. It doesn't matter. Like I said, you can vary it, but. However you want to do it. So okay. Then we're going to hammer on. Actually, I think he single notes it there. Okay. That might be a little tricky. Basically some of the same things we're doing here. So grab that 6th fret on your 2nd string. Hammering on that 4th fret, keeping my finger flat back here. All right, when I hammer on to that double stop, you're right out of your F shape. I'm going to slide back from the 3rd fret to the 2nd with this double stop. So it'll sound like this. There's a little bit of a pause there. All right, like I said, it's hard to play slow, but I hope you can see what I'm saying there, or can hear it. Okay, let me play that whole thing up to that point. Okay. So what I'm doing on the end there, I'm sliding into this double stop here from your second to your third fret, just to give you, it's a little bluesy lick there. I think that's right. I think you can get it from that. So when you end that break, he starts setting up the second half of the break. As soon as he ends it, and he's just bouncing back and forth on that second fret on your fourth string. So, and he's brushing. This is all brush work, 2 strings at once. So, all right. So he's setting the second part up. What he's doing is he's going to slide into your partial D-shaped G. All right. And we're going to go on the second and third strings right out of your D-shaped G. So now that's the same thing as this out of your F shape. All right. These are the same notes, but it has just a slightly different sound to it. And it's easier to get up to the higher part that you're going to need to get to in a minute. So I've explained this before in a lot of Don's stuff. You need to think about the economy of motion. You don't want to jump around and, if you're way up here and then jump way down here, sometimes that's good. But when you're playing something fast, you kind of want to grab in and around wherever you're at and try to think about how to get to the notes that you need to with the least amount of movement or jumping around. So in this case, you could do it here. And that sounds good. But I believe Don's coming here. He gives it a little more of a thicker, hollower sound. And I think that's what he wanted to do it there. So it's a little more of a deep, a hollow, throatier type sound there. So. All right. So at the end of that, you're brushing those down. That's almost like I Know You're Married. Listen to the record to get the timing and the right amount of times he strikes that. I'm kind of going off of memory here, but whoops. We're going to slide up to the 12th fret on your first and second strings to this double stop, just to your G chord. So we're sliding up to that from that double stop. Back to this double stop on your first and second strings out of that D-shaped G. I hope that makes sense. Now you could add a little slide in there if you wanted to. Or okay. However you want to do it. All right. Now, you can do this 2 ways here, and I think the way Don's doing it on the record is he's actually playing a double stop on the first and second strings, but he's leaving the first string open to give it just a little weird sound there. So after this, all right, what he's doing is he's sliding up to the 12th fret on your second string, but he's leaving the first string open, and he's brushing those 2. So So I've heard him do this in several tunes, and it's just something he adds a little extra. It sounds, it's not off, but it sounds good. It's just, it's not what you expect. Now, you can brush those two if you wanted to. So, okay. But I believe he's leaving the first string open to give it just a little different sound. Either way is right. You can do however you want to. So, we're going to come back to the 6th fret, no, the 8th fret on your 2nd string, still in this D-shaped G. So, all right, so, and then we're going to grab the 7th note. This is just basically your G7th. It's a D7th shape, but it's a D7th. All right, but we're going to hold this double stop down that we started with. And we're just going to go back and forth. Now, this is similar to, what is it? Memphis 5-string that I did a video on. All right, something like that. But I'm just holding that D shape down, those double stops, you can see them there, and I'm going to brush those on the 10th fret to the 9th fret, and then back to your regular double stop that you've got held there. So, okay. All right, it's all right out of that G position, see? You don't want your hands to be in any weird positions. It's right in the chord shape. So let me play that second half for you. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I know I rambled on a lot, but I have a tendency to do that. So when you do that, we're going to grab the 4th and 3rd strings out of that D shape, and we're just going to slide that back. So, okay, so after you slide back from this position here, we're going to go right back into this Chuck Berry lick. So after this, so what I'm doing is I'm doing that Chuck Berry lick twice there. Then I'm transitioning into your D chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the 3rd fret on your 4th string and then hit it open, and then I'm going to hammer on to the 4th fret. All right, and then hit it open. And then we're going to go right back into this Chuck Berry lick. So, all right. I hope that makes sense. So, like I said, listen to the record and listen to what I'm doing here. Hopefully I'm playing that right. It's, like I said, it's hard to explain this and play it at the same time so slow like this. But I believe that's correct. Between me and Don, you'll come up with something that'll be close. So anyway, let me play that whole second half for you so you know what it sounds like in context. So. What I'm doing on the end of that, there's a slight pause there, just like before. All right, so coming back with that double stop on the 3rd fret. And then we're going to end it with. Alright, so it's that same one we did before. Okay? So. So that's the whole thing. And on the very end of that, it's kind of unusual too. When he does this final one, he just does his typical little tag lick, and then he goes. So I thought that was kind of neat how he ended his break. It's interesting there. So, all right, so. All right. Okay, well, that's the whole break. Let me try to play the whole thing for you. I don't know if I can get through it or not. I barely got through it explaining it, but it gives you a little idea of how it comes together. But like I said, listen to the record, and between what I'm showing you here and the record, I think you can come up with something, and it's pretty close. And always remember to add your own little things in there too, and never stick to the way I'm showing you. So let's try the whole thing. All right. Wasn't too bad. I missed a few things in there, but I think you can get it from that. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message or an email, and I'll be glad to help you the best that I can. See you in the next one. That was the cat. The cat's ringing her bell over here. It's time to eat, so see you next time.